imagine spending, I don't know, $1.5 billion to integrate cutting-edge artificial intelligence into your cars.
Yeah.
But then you lose a sale because a customer just couldn't figure out how to call your dealership from their smartphone.
Oh, it's crazy.
Right. Welcome to Auto News Talk. The auto industry is caught in this massive high-stakes balancing act. At the very top, you have automakers throwing around just ungodly sums of money to secure a high-tech, AI-driven future.
Right.
But then on the ground level, they're fighting these desperate, chaotic battles just to maintain basic consumer trust, affordability, and really the mechanical soul of driving itself.
It is, it's a profound identity crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, to make sense of it, we have to look at the entire ecosystem as one connected organism.
Okay.
So we're going to track how this business is evolving, starting up in the corporate boardrooms where legacy brands are just frantically buying their way into the digital space.
Yeah.
And we're going to follow that exact thread all the way down to the local dealership lots.
Oh, because that's where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly. Because down on the lot, the existential threats look very different. I mean, we're talking about broken mobile websites, wildly volatile pricing strategies, and this surprising fight to save the manual transmission.
Yeah, I want to start at that boardroom level because the scale of the transition is just, it's hard to wrap your head around.
It really is.
A perfect example of this top-down panic, or I don't know, maybe we call it a pivot, it comes from Porsche. They are fundamentally restructuring their business to get an edge in artificial intelligence.
Right, and the scope of what Porsche is doing here is just staggering. According to a breakdown of their new strategy, Porsche has tapped Tata Consultancy Services, so TCS, for a massive 5-year AI initiative.
Okay.
And we are talking about an agreement worth 1.25 billion euros.
Wow.
Yeah, in dollars, that is roughly 1.46 billion.
$1.5 billion just to bring an outside software partner into the fold.
Yeah.
But you know, the craziest part of this deal to me isn't even the price tag. It's how Porsche is actually paying for it. Because they aren't just writing a check, they are physically carving off a piece of their own company.
And that maneuver, that's what makes this so revealing about the state of the industry. So as part of this overarching deal, TCS is actually acquiring Porsche's in-house IT consulting business.
Okay.
It's a unit called MHP. TCS is buying that division for 320 million euros. And MHP is not some small side project. They employ roughly 4,500 people.
Wait, 4,500 employees are just changing hands?
Yes.
Why would an automaker even have an in-house IT consulting firm of that size to begin with? I mean, that sounds like a tech company.
Well, it stems from an era where legacy automakers, they wanted to vertically integrate everything.
Oh, right.
They built these massive, sprawling IT departments to manage internal servers, dealership networks, basic enterprise software, all of that.
Just doing it all themselves.
Exactly. But maintaining legacy IT infrastructure is completely different from developing bleeding-edge artificial intelligence. So this move ties into Porsche's corporate strategy, which they call Sportwagen Schmied 35.
Wow, German is a beautiful language.
It really is, yeah. But the entire goal there is to improve profitability and cash flow by shedding these bloated legacy side businesses.
Okay.
So they are outsourcing the heavy lifting of IT management to a tech giant, which allows TCS to build a dedicated AI hub for them.
So it's like Porsche realizes they are incredible mechanical watchmakers, but the market is basically forcing them to build smartwatches.
Yeah.
So they're outsourcing the manufacturing of the circuit boards just so their own engineers can get back to focusing on the chassis and the driving dynamics.
That analogy hits the nail right on the head. Legacy brands are finally admitting they cannot be software companies and hardware companies at the exact same time.
Which is smart.
It is. The chairman of Porsche, Michael Leiters, is actually quoted directly on this, explicitly stating that the goal is to combine Porsche's automotive expertise with TCS's digital and AI capabilities.
Yeah.
It's essentially an admission of limitation.
Which makes sense. I mean, let the software people write the code, let the car people build the suspension.
Exactly.
My one hang-up here, though, is the sheer lack of detail on the actual product side. Because the source outlines the financial transaction perfectly, but it completely leaves us in the dark on what this AI hub will actually do for the cars.
Yeah, that's the big unknown.
Right. Are we talking about autonomous driving software, supply chain predictive models, voice assistants in the cabin? It's just $1 billion mystery box.
The opacity is frustrating, for sure. But I think it highlights the sheer premium automakers place on just acquiring the infrastructure.
You just need it.
They know they need the digital brain, even if they haven't publicized exactly what it will think about. But while heritage brands like Porsche are desperately buying digital infrastructure, there's an entirely different strategy happening on the other side of the globe.
Okay.
New entrants to the market are doing the exact opposite. They are buying traditional, old-school financial infrastructure just to establish immediate consumer trust.
Oh, this is such a fascinating contrast.
Yeah,
While Porsche is trying to look like a tech startup, the actual tech-forward startups are trying to look like heritage banks.
right.
There is a Chinese brand called Lepa's, owned by Chery, and they are preparing for a massive UK retail launch. Their flagship product is this plug-in hybrid called the L8 PHEV,
Okay.
and they're being incredibly aggressive with their physical footprint, building 50 standalone outlets immediately, and they're aiming for 90 showrooms in their next phase of expansion.
Wow. Scaling a physical network to 90 locations from a standstill, I mean, that requires an immense amount of capital.
Yeah.
But the central insight from the Lepa's launch is their recognition of a very traditional gatekeeper. Because the ultimate key to a successful retail launch isn't just having a good car, it's securing an established, highly localized finance partner.
Right.
So Lepa's lined up a major partnership with Lloyd's banking group, utilizing their Black Horse and Lex Autolease divisions.
Well, let's dig into the mechanics of that, because I think a lot of people just assume an automaker builds a car, they put it on a lot, and they wait for someone to come buy it.
Yeah, it's way more complicated.
But this partnership with Lloyd's goes way deeper than just, offering a shopper a monthly payment plan.
Oh, absolutely. The mechanism of auto retail is completely reliant on what is called wholesale stock funding, or sometimes floor plan financing.
Okay.
A local dealership does not have the liquid cash to just outright purchase 50 brand new vehicles to park on their lot. The bank actually finances that physical inventory for the dealer. So this partnership with Lloyd's provides that crucial wholesale funding to keep the dealer networks alive, while simultaneously offering the retail options to the consumer, like hire purchase and personal contract purchase, plus future used vehicle finance.
It's the whole ecosystem.
Everything.
The managing director of Lepus UK, Ray Wang, made a comment that I found really telling. He noted, quote, "We spoke to all the leading providers and benchmarked the market, and I'm very excited to be partnering with Lloyd's Banking Group."
Yeah.
And to me, that sounds like a company desperately seeking validation. Like, are they essentially leaning on a heritage banking name to borrow a halo of reliability? Because the car brand itself is a total unknown to these buyers, right?
Yeah.
So they use the bank as a shield.
It's a highly calculated psychological play, yes.
Yeah.
Even with brand new original equipment manufacturers launching all this new technology, the traditional dealership model remains the immovable object.
Right.
A customer in the UK might look at a Lepus L8 PHEV with skepticism, but seeing the Lloyd's logo right next to the financing agreement, it immediately removes a massive barrier of anxiety.
Yeah, I see the logic there, but I mean, the strategy has a glaring vulnerability, right?
Sure.
You can have the most seamless, trustworthy finance packages in the world, backed by the most famous banks, but it doesn't answer how consumers will react to the physical products.
That's true.
If the L8 PHEV drives poorly or the software glitches out on the highway, Lloyd's Banking Group cannot save them from bad word of mouth.
No, they can't. The physical product still has to survive the physical world. And navigating the physical auto market is basically a nightmare for almost every manufacturer at this moment.
Yeah.
Whether a brand is launching a new plug-in hybrid or they're trying to sell a legacy pickup truck, they are hitting a wall of absolute market chaos.
Calling it chaos almost feels like an understatement. I mean, if you look at the latest industry overview published by Car and Driver, the retail landscape is defined by extreme volatility. Automakers are simultaneously trying to push for affordability while fighting off sudden, massive reliability recalls and looming trade threats.
Yeah, the pricing strategies alone show an industry that has completely lost its consensus. Automakers are deeply divided on what the consumer actually wants or what they can afford.
Right.
You have Ford actively developing a $25,000 SUV to capture the budget market, and Kia is launching a new EV that starts well under $35,000.
But then you have Nissan looking at that exact same economic climate and doing the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Car and Driver points out that Nissan is intentionally removing the base trim of the Murano. They are stripping away the cheapest option, which artificially raises the entry price for that model.
Exactly.
So Ford and Kia are scrambling to build budget EVs, while Nissan is just abandoning the budget buyer entirely.
It exposes a totally fractured read on the market's trajectory. Some automakers believe the middle class is completely tapped out and they need extreme affordability.
Yeah.
Others believe the only profitable path forward is treating vehicles as premium luxury assets. And then you have companies trying to play both sides simultaneously.
Like Ford.
Exactly. Ford is developing a traditional V6 base engine for their staple F-150, but at the same time, they are teasing a $30,000 electric truck called the Fathom EV, which Car and Driver explicitly labeled as worth waiting for.
So they have one foot planted in legacy combustion and the other reaching for these budget EVs.
Yeah.
But all of these pricing theories just get completely thrown out the window when the operational side of the business breaks down.
Oh, the recalls.
Right. The overview details some brutal reliability issues that are hitting the ground level. Toyota is dealing with a massive wave of recalls. 48,000 Tacomas recalled for faulty dampers, and a staggering 500,000 Camrys pulled back because of blank instrument gauges.
Wow.
500,000 Camrys.
And Toyota is usually the gold standard for reliability.
Thanks.
General Motors is caught in this wave too, facing a federal investigation over V8 engine failures. And the thing is, the operational mechanism of a massive recall completely disrupts the local retail environment.
Wow, so...
Well, when 500,000 Camrys need service, the dealership service bays become entirely bottlenecked.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Right. So retail buyers can't get standard maintenance done, the service advisors burn out, and the brand's reputation takes a hit right when they are trying to justify these higher vehicle prices.
Wow, yeah. And as if service bottlenecks and pricing confusion weren't enough, there is the overarching geopolitical threat.
Yes.
The source highlights a proposed 50% tariff on Canadian cars. Now, obviously, we're just reporting the facts of the trade proposal here. We aren't taking any political positions, but a 50% tariff would fundamentally upend the supply chain.
Oh, absolutely. The North American auto supply chain relies on parts crossing borders multiple times before a vehicle is ever finished. A tariff of that magnitude would force a total reorganization of manufacturing. But the overview leaves us with a significant blind spot regarding these policy threats. It notes the tariff is proposed, but it lacks any concrete modeling on how that disruption would actually materialize. It just hangs over the market as an unquantified risk.
Okay, so put yourself in the shoes of a normal person trying to buy a car amidst all of this.
It's stressful.
They're stressed about inflation. They're reading headlines about 500,000 recalled vehicles. They're confused about EV pricing. They finally summon the courage to shop for a car, and they run headfirst into a completely different failure.
Yeah.
The dealership's digital front door is broken.
This is perhaps the most solvable yet most ignored problem in auto retail.
Totally.
Digital Dealer published a framework designed by Brent Morrow, the founder of the Detail Coach. And its central argument is incredibly blunt. Dealerships are wasting immense amounts of money driving traffic to websites that fail basic usability and trust tests.
Just burning money.
Exactly. Morrow urges dealers to perform a comprehensive website trust audit before spending another dollar on digital advertising.
Because what is the point of pouring money into Google or Facebook ads if the website they click on is a total disaster?
Right.
And the primary culprit, according to the framework, is mobile design.
Yes. The mechanism of failure usually stems from relying on third-party vendors who just stack widgets on top of each other. Morrow emphasizes that a mobile site cannot simply be a shrunken-down version of a desktop site.
It doesn't work.
The usability standards are entirely different. Dealerships load their sites with chatbots, intrusive financing pop-ups, and full-screen trade-in calculators.
The source paints this incredibly vivid scenario that is almost painful to read because it is so true.
Yeah.
Imagine a shopper standing physically on the dealership lot. They are looking right at a piece of inventory. They pull out their smartphone to check the price or call the sales desk.
Right.
Instead of getting a phone number, they are hit with a full-screen pop-up. They have to pinch and zoom in on tiny text, try to highlight and copy the phone number, or fight through a chatbot just to ask a basic question.
It creates instant hostility. I mean, Morrow's framework dictates that dealerships have to strip away vague marketing fluff like, best service in town, and replace it with actual trust signals like real customer feedback and named staff members.
Yeah.
And crucially, they must change how they measure success. Dealerships need to stop celebrating raw page views and start tracking high-value outcomes.
Right, like tracked phone calls and scheduled appointments.
Exactly.
It is exactly like a restaurant spending a fortune on a massive, beautiful billboard out on the highway. But when the hungry customers finally pull up and walk to the front door, the handle is broken, the windows are dirty, and the menu is in a language they can't read.
Yeah.
The billboard did its job, but the local execution failed completely.
That is the exact disconnect.
Yeah.
You can have Porsche spending $1 billion on an AI hub or Ford engineering a revolutionary EV platform, but if the local point of sale is digitally broken, the entire multi-billion-dollar supply chain grinds to a halt.
Right.
The final transaction is always human, and it happens at the local level.
Yeah. I completely agree with the premise, but the framework glosses over a massive practical hurdle.
What's that?
Doing a comprehensive website trust audit sounds great in a marketing seminar, but the source doesn't address the actual cost. How much time, technical skill, and financial investment does an independent, locally owned dealership actually need to fix this?
Oh, it's a lot.
Right. Often they are locked into restrictive contracts with website providers and literally don't have the administrative access to just delete a pop-up.
The friction of legacy contracts is a massive barrier. You are absolutely right. The theory is sound, but the execution requires resources many local dealers just lack. However, beneath all the frustration of broken mobile sites, complex AI integration, and volatile pricing, we have to remember the core product.
The car.
Cars are fundamentally an emotional purchase.
They really are. Which brings us to a story about preserving the actual mechanical joy of driving.
Yes.
Honda caused a massive panic among driving enthusiasts when they paused production on the manual transmission versions of the Civic Si and the Acura Integra A-Spec models. People thought the stick shift was finally dead.
Oh, the reaction was swift, but Honda quickly clarified the situation. Their statements reveal a fascinating central insight. Honda is deliberately choosing to preserve manual transmissions for their specific enthusiast models to maintain their brand identity, completely defying the shrinking overall market demand.
They confirmed that the Civic Si nameplate will return, and to calm the purists down, they noted that the true Halo cars, so the Civic Type R and the Acura Integra Type S, they were completely unaffected by the production pause.
Right.
Honda intends to keep manuals in the future production planning for these performance models.
The justification for this is what stands out. The vice president of American Honda, Lance Wolfer, explicitly admitted that manuals appeal to a much smaller share of buyers than they used to.
Sure.
But he argued they remain critically important to the brand's performance identity.
It makes me wonder if automakers are finally realizing that as cars become giant iPads on wheels, the stick shift is basically turning into the mechanical equivalent of a vinyl record.
Oh, I love that.
People just crave that tactile analog connection to a machine.
The vinyl analogy is perfect. It proves automakers understand that value isn't strictly measured in sales volume. A manual transmission is a living marketing tool.
Yeah.
It keeps the brand's heritage authentic and ensures the most vocal, passionate segment of their customer base remains loyal.
Because those are the people who convince their friends to buy a Honda, even if the friend ends up just buying an automatic CR-V, right?
Exactly.
My only hesitation with this good news is the fine print. While they confirm the Civic Si is returning for the next generation, Honda has not formally confirmed the exact transmission specs for that specific upcoming model.
Right.
They signaled their intent, but they left themselves a tiny bit of wiggle room. What this doesn't answer is whether that exact 2028 car gets the manual.
We will have to wait for the final spec sheet to know for sure. But if we pull back and synthesize all of these different sources, 3 very clear themes emerge from all of this chaos.
Okay, lay them out.
First, we are witnessing the staggering cost of the future. We see this in Porsche as €1.25 billion AI investment with TCS contracted directly with the aggressive push for budget-friendly EVs from Ford and Kia. The financial strain of funding the future while surviving the present is immense.
Right. It's pulling them in 2 directions. And the second theme is what I would call the unshakable importance of infrastructure.
Precisely. No matter how advanced the product is, Lepa's proved that a new automaker still desperately needs the traditional banking infrastructure of Lloyd's to survive a retail launch.
Yeah.
And on a micro level, Brett Morrow's framework proves that dealerships need highly functional, basic mobile infrastructure before they can even think about advanced digital marketing.
Which naturally leads to the third theme, which is the human element. Honda's commitment to saving the manual transmission is proof that you cannot entirely digitize the driving experience. People still want a mechanical connection. But looking at all of this together, the contradictions are just glaring.
The landscape is defined by 2 massive tensions. First, there is the tension between affordability and the premium market. The car and driver overview highlighted this perfectly when noting Nissan dropping its base model Murano to chase higher margins, while Ford tries to engineer a $25,000 SUV.
Right.
The industry is completely split on who they are actually building cars for.
And the second tension is the contrast between high-tech investments and basic digital failures. I mean, you have Porsche building a bespoke AI hub, while digital experts are screaming that local dealers can't even design a mobile site that allows a customer to make a simple phone call.
Which brings us to the ultimate, practical takeaway from all of this material. Before a global brand or a local dealership chases the next massive innovation, whether that is a billion-dollar AI integration or a huge digital ad campaign, they must ensure their foundational trust and basic usability with the human consumer is rock solid. If the
Yeah,
foundation is broken, the technology is irrelevant.
you cannot build a smart home on a cracked foundation. Well, you are listening to Auto News Talk, and as we sign off, it is incredibly clear that the future of the auto industry will be won by whoever successfully balances the microchip with the mechanic.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on how these legacy brands like Porsche implement their artificial intelligence without losing their soul, and we will certainly be watching to see if that next generation Honda actually hits the lot with 3 pedals. Until next time, what is the one mechanical feature in your car you absolutely refuse to give up to a touchscreen?